Good afternoon. Not gonna lie, I'm tired today. This has been a rough week. Our family has been sick for weeks. We're actually pretty much better now, but our kids, they're 2, 3, and 4, especially our 2-year-old, has not let us sleep through the night in days. Oh my goodness, I'm so tired. So let me take this opportunity to tell you, if you didn't see it already, to take a look at the interview I did with Ariel Driscoll, a pediatric sleep consultant. That was a good one if you're interested in learning more about what a sleep consultant does, when you might need to call her, all those sorts of things. That was a good one. So awesome. And you can check that out on my blog. There's a link to my website up on the description to this interview. So click that link, go to the blog, and you can search in the category for interviews. And that's where you'll find the one from Ariel and all the other ones that I've done so far. Lots of good information. And today, I'm so excited. Hi, Shirley. Shirley's who I'm going to be talking to today. I'm going to bring her on in a minute. Today, we're going to be talking to Shirley Anne of Shirley Anne Photography. I think that's the name of the business. She's a photographer. She's a birth photographer. Now, I am a maternity and newborn photographer, as you know. And I get asked every once in a while if I do birth photography. And the answer thus far is absolutely not. I know that sounds awful, but I have 3 kids. Like I just said, 3 kids. I've never been in labor. And at this point in my life, I don't really feel the desire to watch somebody else go through that. So Shirley and other people have told me I might change my mind if I just give it a try. But for now, I am more than happy to let people like Shirley do that for you. She loves it. She's awesome at it. So anyway, today I'm going to talk to her. We're going to talk about what birth photography is, how it's different, when you might want to hire a birth photographer, all sorts of stuff. So feel free to ask Shirley questions too as we're chatting. I'm going to bring her on now. So give me just a second.
Hi, I do, and I can see you. So exciting. I'm very good, and you? Let me see. Give me 1 second. It's kind of blurry. I don't know if everybody sees us blurry or if they can see us good. I don't know.
Let me try something too. I wonder if that'll help. Is that better? Can you see me and hear me okay?
It's all right. I can hear you. I can hear you. That's what's important.
Perfect. Perfect. All right. So let's start with this, Shirley. Tell us who you are.
So like you said, I'm Shirley, and I live in Waltham right now. You see, a little blurry. There we go. That's your husband, right?
It is my husband. He's amazing.
I am originally from Puerto Rico. I have been living in Massachusetts on and off for a little over 5 years right now. Okay. And I've been doing photography for a little over a year now. So that's basically who I am. I'm married to a veterans of the Marine Corps, and I have 2 beautiful and very handsome boys.
That's true. I've seen pictures. Nice. So you've only been doing photography for a year, a little over a year?
A little over a year, yes, correct. I used to do a lot of photography for my family, but as a business just over a year. Yes.
Wow. You're so good. You
Thank
capture the
you.
emotion of the whole experience so well. It's amazing.
Thank you. Thank you. I think it's the passion that I have, especially for birth photography, that is just, it allows me to do a good job, or at least that's what everybody says, or some people
Well,
say.
it's true. Right. It's true. You do
Thank
a good job.
you.
I couldn't do that, I don't think.
Thank you.
So tell me what started you into birth photography?
Oh, that's such a good question. So, my oldest is 7 years old right now, and back then, after I had him, I started to get very interested in the whole birthing process, like natural births, C-sections, everything related to birth, the whole pregnancy process, and I started following a lot of birth photographers, and then I kind of just made a connection. Hey, I love photography. I love births. Why don't I do birth photography? That is just like the best idea.
Right.
And that's how I started from the beginning that I said I'm gonna open my business. I want to focus on birth photography. That was definitely my goal, and I'm heading that way to do mostly birth photography as compared to other type of portrait sessions. Definitely.
Nice. So,
Yeah.
you can tell me you don't want to answer this if it's too personal, but you said it was after your first was born is what really
Correct.
started you interested in that. Was there did you have a bad experience and that's what or
Did.
no.
I did have a bad experience with my first. I was living in Puerto Rico at that point, and my provider was not the best as in regards to respecting my wishes. And I kind of just was like, I had a really bad experience. I said I'm never gonna have any other children. Then the story changed like 4 years after,
Right.
and I decided to have my second one. But yeah, it was a very difficult birth, and it just made me very interested on what were my options to give birth, and
Right.
things that I didn't know because I wasn't researching or anything like that. So that experience was definitely the one that got me very interested in regards to birth and midwives and doulas and what can I do to have my birth respected and all that. Definitely.
So then your second boy, was that a
Yeah.
completely opposite experience then? It's a good experience?
Yes, I planned, oh my God, for like 2 years before I had my second one, when I decided that I want to have another one, I decided that I wanted to have a home birth. And I was able to have my home birth in North Carolina with an amazing midwife in Jacksonville, North Carolina. And my choices were respected. I felt it was the best experience, and my husband would say the same thing after we gave birth, because we gave birth. He said if we were to do it again, we would definitely have another home birth, because it was just a very empowering birth. Not to say that hospital births might not be empowering, because I've seen a lot of hospital births that are empowering. The nurses are very respectful, but my experience, my personal experience, was not that. So that's why I decided to have a home birth with my second child. Yeah.
Nice. Awesome.
Yep.
Thanks for sharing that. That's awesome
No worries.
for this. That's great. So, birth photography. I have so many questions because, like I said, I've never been in labor. So,
yeah,
it's so crazy to me. 3 kids and never been in labor. But, wow, where to start? So,
you're missing pain. That's everything you're missing. Although, you know what? I always say that moms that have had a C-section are really the true heroines for me, because after having a baby with a C-section, that's not not easy at all. Like, I know that I had a really, really rough time after I had my birth, and after I had my first, I mean, and I can't even
Mm-hmm.
imagine like going through everything that I went through, plus having a huge surgery in the middle of my abdomen. Just like, I can't even imagine. So I really give tons of props to moms that haven't gone into labor but ended up in a C-section. So I really give a lot of props to you. That's definitely, yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot. I can't hear you. Let me see. Rhiannon, I, I can't hear you well. Mm,
Maybe if I pull it over here.
oh, there we go.
Hello, hello.
Let me see. I can hear you now.
Oh, you can? Okay. I'm like
Yeah.
across my studio.
Looking for a signal. That's crazy. Okay, there we go. I can hear you now. A little better.
Hello.
I think I lost you again. Think I lost you again.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Ah, yay! Let's see if it lasts.
All right.
I am the
Now I
biggest wuss
can.
when it comes. Hold on. I'm. I don't know what the issue is.
Probably the internet.
We even did a test today to make sure that it would work.
Uh, it happens.
Right?
Technology is
Technology.
always against. But I can hear you now. Like,
Okay.
audio is coming in.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. I was telling you,
So
I'm the biggest wuss.
cross our fingers. Yeah.
So I can do anything now,
You know what? I hate shots and I hate to get my blood drawn, so I understand.
right? It's like my mantra. You've had 3 babies cut out of you. You can do this.
You can do it. You are superwoman.
Awesome. Well, tell me, who is should hire a birth photographer? Who's the is it only people that have hospital births, or is it only people that have natural births, or is it if I have a planned C-section, can I hire a birth photographer?
Anybody can hire a birth photographer. I think it's more about your story than anything.
Okay.
I've done home births. I've done hospital births. I think the biggest issue here in Massachusetts, at least, not in all states, is C-sections, because a lot of the hospitals in Massachusetts don't allow photography in the OR, in the operations room. So sadly, it is really dependable on the the anesthesiologist. Sorry, that's a big word. Um, and if they say no, there's very big chances that a C-section might not happen. But if the anesthesiologist, oh my God, that word, I hate it, says okay, then we can definitely do it. It really depends if you reach out to your providers ahead of time and let them know, hey, I'm planning on having a photographer. Usually they're okay.
Mm-hmm.
But with C-sections, it's definitely more of like, we need to see what happens.
Right.
Sadly, because for me, it's very sad because it's still their story, it's still their birth, and they have no control. Like, moms don't have any type of control because there's a doctor that is doing the procedure. So it's
Right.
very sad that at times there's moms that are not able to capture that first moment when you see your baby, that first moment where the dad holds the baby, because they don't allow you. So it's definitely sad. And I think they don't even allow like photography with the cell phone. So it's not only like a professional photographer, it's just no photography at all.
That's how it
So it's kind of sad.
Yeah.
But I do definitely encourage for hospital births and home births as well to have that time documented. Sometimes after you give birth, you forget about what happened. Like, I don't remember my first birth at all because I was drugged up. I didn't have an epidural, but I had other drugs in my system, and I barely remember things. I don't remember when my husband touched my son for the first time. I don't remember when I touched my son for the first time. So it's kind of sad that I don't have that moment captured. And if I would have had pictures, I could have gone back and be like, oh, let me see what happened, how it went through, and show my children. Like, I'm able to show the baby some pictures that we were able to have at our home birth, but not my oldest. So it's definitely a very important time. I always compare it to a wedding because it's a new stage in your life. It's a time where you're going from 2 people to 3, or from 3 to 5, or whatever, depending on your story. So I think it's very important to have that time documented and for you to be able to go back and see that. I lost you again.
Oh, there you are again. You froze for me.
Were you able to see me though?
No, you disappeared this time.
Oh no, this is not good.
Right.
What could it be? I don't know what that does.
Right. I found having my phone next to metal made it break up more. So.
Oh, okay.
But Dana could hear you, so apparently she and that's so weird.
That's good. Hey.
Perfect.
We'll work around it.
Right. So what happens then if you're hired to do the birth story and mom ends up with an emergency C-section? Yeah.
So, again, depending on the providers, I can go in if they allow me in. Mm-hmm. If not, I usually just document the whole labor, and then after they come out from recovery, or sometimes they allow photographers in the recovery area, and I can capture some images at the recovery area. If not, I would have to wait until they're placed into a room. But I would stay in the area. I would stay, I would probably capture some images if there's somebody in the waiting room waiting for the birth of the baby. I can definitely capture some images. Sorry. But I would stay with the family up until the baby is born, and we can capture those first minutes of connection of the parents with the baby. Definitely.
Nice. And how early do you go to the hospital if they're like, or to the delivery? Yeah, that's
Yep.
birth, wherever they're delivering. How early do you go, and like how long do you stay?
Really good question. So I usually ask my parents to call me as soon as they know they're heading to the hospital or that contractions are started, even if it might be a false labor. I want to know so that way, since I have two kids, I need to rearrange my life and
Mm-hmm.
my husband's life to
Mm-hmm.
to be able to get to the birth. So I ask them to keep me updated as much as I can, and I usually arrive when mom is either between 5 to 6 centimeters, or if mom is not going to be checked when contractions are every 3 to 4 minutes.
Okay.
That way, I can capture when mom is in active labor, actually working around with through her contractions. Usually right at that moment is if mom is going to ask for an epidural, that's when it's going to happen. So I'm able to get some of the pictures or images when mom is working through the contractions, and then I can get some images of where mom is more relaxed, more talking to her partners, and all of that. And then I stay with the family the birth up until 1 to 2 hours after the That's my husband right there commenting. So I stay 1 to 2 hours after the baby is born. That way I can capture those little details of the footprints, when they measure him, when or
Right.
him or her, or when they get their weight. All of those little moments I capture in those 1 to 2 hours after the baby is born.
Nice. Um, and what happens if you like get to the hospital and labor stalls, or like it turns out to be false labor? Like what's your protocol?
So if it ends up being a false labor, we'll go back home. Usually when I arrive, it's not a false labor because it's five, like I arrive when they've already checked or contractions are pretty regular. If the labor stalls, I stay with the family.
Okay.
The only reason why I would leave would be, let's say that it's been 1 to 2 hours and there's been no type of progression. I do have backup photographers available in the area that what I do is that I contact them in case, just like a doula would do or a midwife would do if they're having like a home birth. Usually they just call out
Right.
another provider, and that way we can have that family covered. And it would be the same with photography. I have people that are available, and I can just call and be like, hey, this birth is lasting more than 15 hours, more than 18 hours. Can you come for a few hours while I rest, and then I'll come back? And that's usually how birth photography and the doula life is. You have to have a really good community available, because if you don't have that, then you're definitely going to be going down, because it's birth photography and the birth world in general lays on a lot on support from family, support from the birth community, and all of that. And honestly, here in Boston, the birth community is amazing. There's
Mm.
so many amazing doulas, amazing home birth with midwives, amazing OBGYNs, that it's just, if you want to give birth, this is probably the best place for you
Yeah.
to have a birth, definitely.
Nice. So, as you said when we first started talking, you live in Waltham, right? Is what you said? So you're much closer to Boston, whereas I'm
Correct.
like next to Worcester. So,
Yeah.
many of my clients are in this area or even farther west.
Yep.
You travel that far. You've done births in
I do.
Springfield.
Yes, I've done, actually my first birth was 2 hours from home. So
Wow.
I headed out, and it took me 2 hours. When I got to the home of my client, she gave birth, oh my God, like 2 hours after I arrived. So it was a very fast birth,
Mm-hmm.
because She reached out to me in the early morning. I went straight, literally, I went straight there. I maybe stopped to get something to eat and continue to leave. And when I got there 2 hours later, she had her baby.
Wow.
It was a very fast labor, and it was amazing, an amazing experience for me. I think that first birth was what confirmed, even though I had to drive for 2 hours, I didn't care because it's definitely where my heart is. It's definitely what I'm looking to do in a future full time. Sadly, here in Massachusetts, birth photography hasn't
taken off.
Yes, exactly. So hopefully soon we'll get birth photography just high above like newborn photography and maternity photography. I think it's very important.
So beautiful and so awesome to have. But like I said, I have no desire to do it. Newborn, give me your newborns every week.
And you definitely need to have the desire. You need to have the passion for it because it's very exhausting.
Yeah.
And not only that, it is it's very time consuming. You can be there for 4 hours or you can be there for 30. So it really, you need to know that you are going to love it, or if not, you're going to burn out. That's definitely where it stands. You need to know that you're definitely, that your heart is there and that you're able to do it. I only take one birth per month right now because, well, right now I'm not working full time, but I was working full time. So it was tough.
Right.
It was definitely tough to juggle a full-time job plus be on call for certain weeks because I'm on call for when mom starts at 38 weeks up until the baby is born, and usually you don't know when the baby's gonna be born. So it is a tough business, but I love it. I really love it, and I gotta be really thankful of my husband because if he didn't support me, I would not be able to even do one birth.
That's amazing. Yeah. It's so awesome to have a good support system.
Yeah, definitely.
I feel like I'm frozen again. Can you hear me still?
I can hear you, yes. You were doing really good a few minutes ago. I can hear you.
So, talk to me about
I could not understand your question, sorry. Oh my God, yes. Yes, very dark. Actually, my last birth, yes, I can hear you, but it's kind of coming and going. You're still kind of broken. Let me see. Can you hear me? No? People, can you let us know if you're hearing us both? Anybody that is connected. Right. Okay, my husband just said that he can hear us.
Perfect.
All right. So you were asking about lighting, correct?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So hospital births definitely can be very dark. There's moms that also ask to have very dimmed lighting. So that definitely makes things difficult. I talk ahead of time with my clients to let them know that I might use a flash bounced off the ceiling. So to be able to bring some lighting into the area where we're going to be photographing. Mm-hmm. Some moms are not comfortable with flash. So basically I just need to work with my settings. I do make aware my clients that if I do not use a flash, there's a lot of possibilities that there's going to be a lot of grain, a lot of noise in the pictures, and usually they're comfortable with that because they understand that it is more because of the lighting situation. It does become very tricky, especially for focusing purposes, but you got to work around it. And I think it's more about some of the images that you are able to get as compared to all of the images that you get. As long as you're able to get some good, really good pictures, that's what's important, because that captures the story of the family.
Right. So it's any better now?
You're coming and going a little bit.
I can hear you.
Okay, I can hear you now.
Okay. So the experience of birth is such a personal experience.
Yeah.
What conversation
Yeah.
do you have with your clients about, like, how in their space are you going to be?
So I had a client that actually was the one that told he gave the dad gave like a review of my services, and he was very concerned about exactly that, like, we're gonna have an extra person plus the doctors. And after I was there with them, after he received his images, he was awesome, and he said, Shirley is like a fly on the wall. And that's literally how I am. I don't want to be in your area, in your birth space. I am going to be more like an outsider as compared to in there. And if I get really close to you, it's because I want to capture certain details, but I won't do it in a way that the family's going to be aware. I might be in their back, I might be in their side, where they won't be aware of the situation. And to be honest, when you're in that moment, you don't even care what's going on around. You're focused on giving birth, on contractions, on working with your partner, on talking to your nurse, and you forget that there's this extra person standing in a corner over there trying to take pictures. That's honestly how I usually describe it. I'm a fly on the wall, and I'll stay out of your situation unless you guys want to talk to me. Unless my clients want to talk to me during contractions, then we'll talk. We'll be funny and whatnot. But if not, I will stay out of the situation, and I will allow the birthing mom and her partner and whoever she has to support to do what they need to do in order to bring that baby to the world.
Nice.
Yep.
So what's your favorite part?
Oh, wow. That's a good question. Oh my God. I think the best moment in a birth is that moment when the baby is actually birthed and mom sees the baby for the first time. They're so different. Like, I've seen so many moms react in different ways. I've seen moms that are scared. I've seen moms that are in love. I've seen moms that are amazed of what they just did. I've seen, it's just amazing. The way that everybody is different in the way that they manage giving birth to a child. Hey, it's a scary thing. After you give birth, after you go through all of those pains and all of, like, having a surgery alone, like, you don't know what to expect if you're having a C-section. It's something that it's scary. It's something that you don't know what to expect. It's probably your first time doing it. So it is a scary moment. It is, I think that definitely is the best area for me. The best thing to see, that that moment when the dad sees the baby, when the dads are impressed because the mom went through all that pain to be able to bring a baby to this world. That's definitely my favorite part. That moment is just amazing.
Nice. Is there
Yeah.
so there, as a wedding photographer, there's certain key moments that happen, like the first time the groom sees the bride walking down the aisle, or
Yeah.
the kiss, or like there's certain things that you want to capture. So
Correct.
are there certain moments through a delivery process that going in, like
I lost you at so yeah, I can hear you now, I think so. Can you say something so I can? I think
yeah.
so. Yes.
Okay.
So with births, they're so unpredictable, and couples tend to react very differently, and the hospital setting might be differently, the home setting might be differently. So I can't promise my clients that I'm going to be able to capture specific moments.
Mm-hmm.
My way of doing a birth story is more like documentary, just capturing everything that happens. I do take pictures of the time. If there's like a clock nearby, I take pictures of the room because you never remember the room that you were in. I take pictures of if mom had essential oil diffuser. I take pictures of that. I take pictures of little details that you might forget that you even had in the area. Let's say that you had some candles or something like that. I take pictures of those, or some words to be able to birth more peacefully or something like that. So those are little details that I do try to focus if mom and the partner are connecting and they're hugging and I see some like hands. I try to capture those moments, but I can't promise them any specific things because
Right.
I might have I might have parents that are very involved, partners that are very involved. I might have partners that decide, no, I'm not. I'm just gonna stay away of the situation. And if there's a doula, the doula might be doing the hard work, or there might be a doula telling dad, okay, this is what you need to do.
Right.
This is how you support her. So it really depends on what's going on. There might be providers in the middle while I'm taking a shot. It's very, very difficult when you need to juggle around 3 nurses and an OB, and it gets tough, but you try your best to take those special moments, those moments that will mom didn't even notice because she wasn't thinking about having the baby. Those are the moments that I try to focus because since I'm outside of the situation, I can see things that both parents might not be able to see, and that's what I try to capture. Can you hear me?
Not hear me? Can you?
It's a little behind,
Oh,
but I think I can hear. Let me see.
the did you hear the hospital I deliver in has really some delivery rooms that are very small?
Yep.
So how do you handle working in a small space? Like some are really large rooms and some are much smaller. Do people get to request a bigger room if they have a photographer, or?
Not really. They need to work with what's available. And same with me, I need to work with what's available. My last birth was in December, and the room was very, very tiny. The only place where I was able to stand was in the back of mom. So I was literally right here.
Oh wow.
And it was a very difficult room because I had right on my left the little table to check the baby. I'm not sure what that's called. And then the little room was filled with like 5 people, so we were crammed in there. um but I was still able to capture some images. Daddy was very tall, so in order to be able to capture him and her in the same shot, it was very difficult. Actually, I was not able to get a shot where they both were unless he would go down. So whenever he would go down, I would capture some images, but it was a tough room.
Mm-hmm.
Plus the lighting, it was just a really tough birth, but I was able to get some really, really good images, and I think that's what's important. It's just about capturing dad when they see the baby for the first time. And believe me, I was like this in the back of mom trying to get as much. And it also depends on the type of lens that I'm using. So I use a 35mm, and that's pretty good when it comes to small spaces. I would love to have another one that would be a 24mm, but right now I'm unable to have it. So I work with my 35, and that has been really good for me to be able to get some really good images while I'm in really small spaces. I lost you. So weird. No,
How
I
long
only heard how long is it for clients to.
before they see their images, before they have their pictures of their birth?
I usually send a sneak peek, um, 3 to 7 days after the birth, so they can see some of the images, and then after that, the whole gallery is showed to them 4 to 6 weeks after the birth.
Oh.
What I do is that I show them in this case, in birth photography, I do an all-inclusive. So I include some digital images as well as an album. I think albums are very important, especially in birth photography, because you're able to have everything right there, tangible in their hands. So I do offer an album with my birth stories. So it's an all-inclusive right now.
Nice.
It might change in the future, but right now it is an all-inclusive. I offer 75 at least images. Usually they're more close to 200 images, and then they choose the images that they want in the album. But they get that gallery 4 to 6 weeks after their birth. Yes.
Okay. Nice. Can you hear me now?
Yep. I can.
Okay. And how far out are you booking right now?
Up until moms are getting pregnant. So what are we? We're in January, so we're getting moms that are due September probably, August, September. My last inquiry was for May. I haven't had any moms book out as far as those months. I think, and I am speaking for myself, I waited a while until I knew I had like a successful pregnancy and all of that. And I think that's probably the mentality or the way that we think as women, like, okay, let's just wait until we know for sure that everything is fine, and then we're able to book. But I've had moms, usually, sadly, most of my clients have been the month before or 2 months before their due date or something like that. So I have to be running around. Yes. So it is tough when it is like that. But usually I am able to do the births, which is what I try to do as much as I can. So I would love to have them booked in advance, but I can't do anything about that right now.
Right.
So.
Right. Awesome. So, Shirley, I just have one more question for you if no one listening has questions, which I'll ask. And if anyone listening does have any questions about birth photography, let us know. But I want to know, Shirley, what's the most superficial thing about you?
The most superficial thing about me, huh? Can you go more into detail?
So I would say if somebody were to ask me that question, I would say I'm a
Okay.
coffee.
You're a what?
I'm a coffee snob.
A coffee.
I
believe
only
me.
drink good coffee. So
You know what? I don't even know how to answer that question. I don't know how to answer that question in regards to something. Let me see. I don't know. I honestly, I don't know. If it was something about me, something that makes me, who I am, basically, I have to say that I am somebody that I'm naturally funny. I don't know why. I can just say something that I would normally say and people would crack up and I'm like, oh, okay, it was funny. Awesome. I don't mind. So that's just something that it really describes me. But in regards to something that is superficial about me, I don't know. I don't know. Honestly, I have no idea. I'm going to have to think about that more.
You let us know when you figure it out.
Exactly. I'll put it in the comments if I think. My husband just said in coffee, yes, definitely. I have to drink 1 to 2 coffees. And the only brand that I use is Goya.
All right.
It's an espresso coffee and I love it.
Nice.
And it's really, really hardcore.
Nice. I'll have to try it
Because
I
need my strong coffee. I can't deal with Starbucks and Dunkin' Donuts.
Right. Yeah. I hear ya. Shirley, I'm so happy you were able to do this today. And
it was my pleasure. It was my pleasure.
Anytime
I had to kick out my husband. I had to kick out my husband and my 2-year-old from the house.
My mom is with my kids in the other room. So
hey, there you go.
That's the life of a...
Oh no, my son is too loud. We could hear him if he would be nearby. Yes.
Yeah, my 2-year-old is sleeping. That's why we don't hear him.
Oh, there you go. That's why.
Mm-hmm. Nice. I love telling people to contact you when they ask me about photography. So now I'm going to be able to tell them, go look at this interview, hear about it yourself from her. So
yes,
I'm so excited about that.
It's very important. I think it's very important to bring awareness of birth photography in Massachusetts, that it is something. If anybody's interested in watching like birthing slideshows, Birth Becomes Her is a really good website and Facebook page that has amazing birth photographers from the whole United States and other countries, and you can see such a good talent, good birth stories that are amazing and very touching, and just I love it. I could be watching them all day. And it's not about, you know what I wanted to make clear? I think a lot of people are very concerned about their privacy, their private parts. It's not about that. I'm not going to be there taking pictures of your private part. It's more about the emotions and the support that you get as a mom, the warrior that you are as a mom, and the support that you have from your partner, that love that you might not be seeing because the partner is in your back, but you could see those emotions when you take pictures of those. And I think that's what's important about birth photography.
It's so beautiful. So beautiful.
Yes, it is.
Thank you.
Definitely.
Thank you.
No problem. If you decide to have a fourth,
right,
call me.
All right. I have C-sections. I'm stuck.
It's all right. It's not a problem. It's not a problem. It doesn't take away from your story.
That's true. That's true. Awesome.
Yeah, so
It's so good to talk to you and hear more about this.
Same.
Thank you
Same.
so much.
Thank you so much for this opportunity.
Oh, yeah. Have a great afternoon. Enjoy a little you time.
Thank you. I couldn't hear you the last